There's no way, dude. There's no way in hell that freaking Halo Infinite is also going to be joining this trend. There's no way that this is happening, and I can't believe it actually could be. So, you guys, I think I told you this a couple times in the past, maybe, but I'm a huge Halo fan for those of you who weren't aware. I love playing Halo as a gamer. I'll be honest, one of my favorite Halo games of all time has got to be Halo Reach. It's probably one of the best Halo games, at least in my opinion. I will be completely honest. I will admit the game can be a bit shallow at times, but I personally loved Halo Reach. Halo 4 was okay, but it could have been much better. Halo 3 was probably a fantastic Halo game, but now Halo 5 Guardians, I mean, again, it was okay, but it could have been much better. But now we got Halo Infinite, even though the game is still in development, and I hope to God it gets delayed again, but it won't. But you're probably wondering, well, Nightwing, what are you complaining about for Halo Infinite? The game's not even out yet. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Even though the game's not out yet, the developers for Halo Infinite have officially announced that they're going to release the game in an unfinished state. How, you might be asking? There's going to be no Forge mode, there's going to be no co-op mode, and there's no sign of like firefight or like big scale battles, nothing like that. There has been no news from that stuff at all. The only big news I heard was there's going to be no Forge mode and no co op when the game releases, which is a major part of Halo. And if they release the game in this current state, I am openly predicting this right now. The game will launch not only with horrible reviews, but it's probably going to be even worse than we thought. I mean, let's go back for a minute. Fallout 76, that game was a complete natural disaster. Literally, there were technical issues and bugs everywhere. And for God's sakes, that game still has a bunch of technical issues and it's still trash ass. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077 is the literal blueprint on how to not release any games. And yet, that game was so bad, it was removed from the PlayStation digital stores. 6 months later, CD Projekt Red got that game back into PlayStation digital stores, so good job on them. And we also have Anthem from BioWare and EA, which I believe the servers are actually down for that game. I could be wrong, but someone let me know in the comments if Anthem is down for good, but that game is so bad. Literally, nobody plays that game anymore, except for like maybe a handful of people. And then we have Marvel's Avengers, one of the worst superhero games to this day, probably of this decade, honestly. And now we're probably going to get Halo Infinite to join this unfinished nonsense train as well. So I have been doing a little bit more research online, and I found this article on the internet, and it seems to tie up a little bit of what I'm trying to get at here. So I'm gonna put this article up on the screen for you guys so you can get at least an idea of what I'm trying to talk about, because I heard that this game was supposed to be pretty excellent, and then some people were saying, oh no, the game is gonna be released unfinished. This is not gonna be a good look. So I decided to do some research, and I found the game like this. Well, at least in the article, at least from what people have been saying. So I'm gonna put the article up on the screen for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. So here you go. Halo Infinite launching without co-op and Forge is a huge disappointment. Okay, so there are already multiple red flags here. I mean, I kind of told you guys this already, but I just wanted to show you just in case. But there is a lot more to this article, which I'll get to in a split second. But Forge has been a big part of Halo. I mean, Halo 5, even though it was kind of a mediocre game, it had one of the best Forge modes in probably the entire Halo genre. And without co-op being in the game, like every other Halo game has. For God's sakes, Halo Combat Evolved, the first Halo game ever, was an amazing co op experience. And they're going to launch no co op campaign with this game? This has got to be a huge stab in the gut for the community. Like, come on now, you gotta be kidding me. In a surprise developer update, 343 Industries delivered some bad news to Halo fans. Halo Infinite won't have a campaign or the series' beloved Forge map editing creation tool at launch this holiday season. Additionally, neither feature will be added for several months, specifically co-op campaign isn't being implemented until 3 months after Halo Infinite's released in Season 2, and fans won't have access to Forge mode until 6 months post-launch in Season 3. Okay, so here's my one confusion with this. If you're not going to add Forge or any form of co-op on game launch, then why are you going to release the game in this state? Let's just look back for a second. Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, Halo Reach, Halo 4, Halo 5. They all have co-op. They launched with co-op and they launched with Forge. I don't know about Halo Combat Evolved or Halo 2. I don't think there was Forge in those first two games, but someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But anyway, Halo 3, 4, Reach, and ODST, well, at least the multiplayer component for that game in terms of like extra maps for Halo 3, but Halo 5 Guardians and Halo 4, they all launched with co-op and they all launched with Forge. And you're telling us you're going to add this 6 months later into the game's life cycle and maybe 3 months later for co-op in the game's life cycle. So you're kind of telling us we're releasing the game in an unfinished state. Don't worry, it's coming. The patches will be coming. Here's my rebuttal to this argument. No, I'm not going to be waiting for patches. I'm playing this game right now, and I hate it. Now, the game is still in development, but I can think of a couple good examples that I already brought up. The number one example, and I keep bringing this up over and over, and I'm sorry, but this is a prime example at this point. Cyberpunk 2077's trash ass released in a broken state, with multiple technical issues, bugs, glitches, and guess what? When the game got taken away from the digital stores, the game came back with literally half the things they were missing at launch. It's been back in Cyberpunk, which I'll be honest, I'm still not going to play that game no matter what I tell myself. But there's also another good game out there. Let's just say Modern Warfare 2 Spec Ops. I mean, at least from my understanding, Modern Warfare 2 was the first Call of Duty that really kind of took co-op to a whole new level when it came to like other modes besides campaign and multiplayer. But at least in Spec Ops there was some kind of form of co-op campaign. Well, it was just special missions realistically, but and now we have Halo Infinite with nothing. Marvel's Avengers, I mean, same thing. Nothing in that game. Literally, nobody liked Marvel's Avengers. This is just infuriating. Seeing bullshit like this, and I'm sorry if I'm gonna be swearing a lot in this video, but I'm a huge Halo fan, but that doesn't really give me the right to swear, but hey, at this point, we're in this new gaming trend of unreleased game finishes, and I have to voice my concern, and I have to make a video and give my opinion on it, just like I did with the Overwatch situation. And I actually thank you to my comment section for at least filling me in on information I missed, because I know I missed a bit of information in my Overwatch slash Halo voice actor video that I was talking about, but I digress, Anyway, thank you comment section for filling me in on that video with some information I missed. But anyway, let's get back to the topic because I'm digressing. So, you think that Halo Infinite is going to launch and be fantastic? No. I'm going to openly call it right now, and I think I said this already, but it's going to be one of the worst Halo games probably in this decade. I hate to say it, but if the game's already been delayed, just delay the goddamn game again. There's nothing wrong with delaying a game. I mean, even though Cyberpunk had multiple delays and the game launched as a buggy mess, still, there's nothing wrong with delaying a game. If it needs to be delayed, then delay it by like a whole year, maybe 2 years, maybe even 3 years. That's what Cyberpunk should have done, but they didn't. And Halo Infinite is literally signing up for all of these problems. So, let's get back to the article, shall we? As someone who considered both co op and Forge to be the core parts of the Halo experience, this news left me feeling disappointed, and while I am still ultimately believe that Halo Infinite will be an excellent game, these features delayed definitely don't reflect on the franchise as a whole, especially since Halo's low community has already had to deal with the game launching without core features once before Halo 5 Guardians. Yeah, because, the only difference with Halo 5 Guardians is at least they actually had a fair amount of content before Forge Mode and all that other stuff was implemented into Halo 5, you know? At least Warzone in that game was a pretty fun mode. I will be honest, I played a little bit of that. It was awesome, but I personally thought the co-op aspect of it, when it came down to facing waves of Covenant and Forerunners, I thought that was pretty fun, And going up against other people, it felt amazing. You know? That's the only reason why I'm not criticizing Halo 5 Guardians. I mean, even though some of the things were missing in that game at launch, but I will admit the biggest reason is because they had Warzone, and a lot of people seem to enjoy that, at least from what I've been hearing lately. So, there's actually a bit more to this article that I do want to show you guys, so I'm going to pull it back up. Ever since the launch of Halo Combat Evolve back in 2001, co-op campaign or co-op play has been a big part of Halo's campaign experience. Both local split screen play and online co-op have always been fan favorites of the avenues for enjoying Halo sandbox driven gameplay. And the reason why is because I was working with a buddy to combo various weapons, vehicles, and pieces of equipment together against AI enemies is a blast. Halo Sandbox is a ton of fun to engage with by yourself, but when you throw a friend into the mix, there's an endless potential for enjoyable and creative gameplay. So pretty much, the big thing that they're taking away is the fun co-op experience with your buddies. I mean, back in around when Halo Reach was still around and still popular, me and some of my friends that enjoyed Halo, we had so much fun in the campaign. But in Forge mode and custom games, oh my god, if you guys haven't experienced that joyride of awesome funness, you're definitely missing out. And I wish I could play Halo Reach today, but unfortunately, my Xbox 360 just had the red ring of death, so kind of sucks for me. And I'm hoping to God that Halo Reach comes to the Nintendo Switch, which probably it will never happen, but hey, maybe one day something like this could occur, but as of now, it's probably never gonna happen. But anyway, that's kind of one of the reasons why I stay with Nintendo Switch, because, we have fun offline split screen co-op gameplay and all that stuff. Like Hyrule Warriors, I'll be honest, that was, at least in my opinion, I feel like that's the first ever Zelda game. Well, I mean, that's not true. Hyrule Warriors on the Wii was kind of like the first Zelda game to introduce co-op campaign gameplay, and then Hyrule Warriors for the Switch was another one. I mean, I'll be honest, I thought it was pretty fun, but I'm definitely gonna try to get some of my friends that I play with to come over, and we'll try to have fun on Hyrule Warriors. I mean, if I can think of it or if I remember, but there are definitely a lot of things that Nintendo excels at, and that's probably one of the reasons why I love that company so much, even though they got scummy business tactics. They literally excel at couch co-op or couch versus gameplay, and that's literally been their whole thing. Like, Nintendo has tried to be a family-friendly company when it comes to, like, gameplay and all that stuff. I'll be honest, I think Pokemon, in my opinion, I wish it had something like that, but I can understand why they kept it like a single-player experience. I can understand that, because it would actually be too complicated. But then again, maybe I'm wrong and I'm just overlooking it. But anyway, the biggest difference here is that if there's no co-op on launch, then that's a major part of the experience just fading away from existence. And that's kind of where we're going down, with the new next gen consoles with what? $60? No, I'm sorry, $70 in next gen for this unfinished video game release trend that's been going on for a couple years now, and a lot of people still defend this. Like, don't criticize the game. It's not finished yet. No, this is the exact reason why you should criticize game developers and video games. We don't want our video games to be released unfinished. Nobody wants that. Nobody likes an unfinished video game. Cyberpunk 2077, Marvel's Avengers, Fallout 76, BioWare's and EA's Anthem. You know what I'm saying? So let's get back into the article, shall we? The 6-month delay of Halo's Forge map editor is a massive bummer too, and it's also potentially threatens the health of the Halo's multiplayer custom game scene. A Halo's custom game community ultimately lives or dies based on whether or not Forge is available. With it, fans can build creative maps that fit the community map made modes like Duck Hunt and Perfectly, or even a new game mode entirely, such as Halo 5's Flapjack Frenzy. Without it, players will be forced to try and make the game's stock maps work with custom games, which usually leads to a mediocre experience. It would not be that bad if Forge was coming soon after launch, but after the fact that 343 Industries is delaying its arrival by a full 6 months is troublesome. This means that the custom game community basically won't exist for the first half of Halo Infinite's first year, which is terrible for the health of the gaming community for Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite is supposed to be a live service game that keeps people playing over time. So the decision to launch the game without Forge mode that kept people playing for Halo 3, Halo Reach, Halo 4, and Halo 5 for years is just baffling. I am ashamed at 343 Industries. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say at this point. They have signed up for a road to disaster. This is pretty much the same thing that Fallout 76 did and launched in a completely trash-ass state. And I can imagine the same fate is similar for Halo Infinite. It's been delayed by a whole year, and yet people are concerned still for this game. And my opinion is that seeing something like this makes me not want to play Halo Infinite anymore. Don't get me wrong, I am a huge Halo fan. I love it. I love Halo games. I love Halo Reach, but seeing Halo Infinite going down a live service route, it's just telling me, like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to bother with this game anymore. I mean, I think Halo 5 was live service. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was. But anyway, I just don't know anymore. I used to be a mega fan from Halo, but after reading something like this, I went from being either a mega fan to completely disinterested and put off. And I fear that this game is gonna launch as a colossal disaster like Fallout 76 and Cyberpunk and Marvel's Avengers. I am desperately afraid for Halo Infinite, and I was considering buying this game, but after seeing something like this, and after seeing from what I've been hearing online from what people have been saying about this game, I am seriously not even gonna bother playing Halo Infinite. I'm actually gonna wait for all the reviews, and I'm gonna see how bad it is. Well, at least in my opinion, the way I want this game to go out is I want it to be delayed again. Delay it by 2 years at least, so you have more time. Don't release the game and work on it later. Work on the game more. Just delay it again. There's nothing wrong with delaying the game. I mean, CD Projekt Red was getting hit with like unnecessary death threats, which I already said my piece about that in my Overwatch video. Nobody should ever deal with that nonsense. It's just unacceptable. But I hope that this does not happen for Halo Infinite. I really hope it does not. You know what I'm saying? I think that anybody with a brain can see, at this point, we have so many bad games that released unfinished, and Halo Infinite is going to launch in the exact same state, so we already know how Halo Infinite's going to go. Unfinished game release is going to end up as a mediocre or a pain in the ass experience, and nobody should have to bother with this. They should just delay the game again. And honestly, if I had the choice to wait for Halo Infinite or Pokemon Legends Arceus, I think I would rather wait for Pokemon Legends Arceus, you know? Because if that game gets delayed, I personally wouldn't mind it, you know? It's coming out in, what, January 28th, I think? In early 2022? And I'll be honest, the game looks okay, but it looks like it could be better. And if it gets delayed, fine. I would rather wait for Pokemon Legends Arceus, because at least that game looks far better and far more fun in terms of gameplay. And from what I'm seeing between Halo Infinite, okay, I can't believe I'm going to go down this route, but let's just say that if Pokemon Legends Arceus released in the same state as Halo Infinite, then there will be so much hate in the gaming industry right now. You know what I mean? Halo Infinite will. I mean, they literally said it in their post. They're going to launch without Forge mode and co op. So half of the game features are like not going to be there, so that's going to suck balls. I mean, Pokemon Legends Arceus, at least they're being released by Game Freak and Nintendo, so at least you'll get a much better experience from Pokemon Legends Arceus. You know what I'm saying? Because at least that game has far better features and it has literally everything on launch day. Now, I could be wrong, and they could both end up as garbage messes. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, someone please let me know in the comments below. But anyway, I think I said my piece about this situation. I would honestly rather wait for Pokemon Legends Arceus rather than Halo Infinite, because I was thinking about buying Halo Infinite, but after seeing something like this, I'm just gonna play it safe, and I'm just gonna wait for reviews and all that stuff. I'm not waiting because I already know for a fact as a Halo fan, this game is gonna suck balls. So, with this being said, thank you guys all for listening. Let me know what you think down below. Did I miss anything important? Or is there something that you guys wanted me to say but I forgot to mention it in here? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to remember next time when I make another commentary video. So, until next time, you guys, I'm not waiting for Halo Infinite, and I'm just gonna be sitting here wondering when will the gaming industry realize this is not the route that us gamers want, and I'll see you all later.